for that, so you haven't killed anyone.
Pizza seems to be what everybody, pizza or gyros or something.
So why did you re-record the whole album?
I think just because, for a couple reasons. One, because like we put out the record 2 years ago, like this week, right? But I think you anticipate that you're gonna have like 9-10 months of touring, and then you're gonna make a record and it's gonna come out. So we toured for a full year straight, and then went into the studio. And I don't think I was really in the right headspace when we walked in the door, because we like came in straight from tour and went straight back to tour. But I think, you know, I was really excited to work in Electric Lady and to work with Jonathan Wilson, because he's a buddy, and I wanted him to make the record. But I think when we went in, everything was kind of rushed, you know what I mean? I knew what we had to get done in 10 days because we had the money for that. But when it came back, I couldn't hear what I thought that I sounded like, which is, again, my own fault, because you have to be able to articulate in a studio. And I think, like, you said that you thought on the first record it seemed like I had an identity already, which I think is a big compliment, but I didn't feel that way. If I had an opinion and like 3 or 4 of the guys thought it should go the other way, I would easily go the other way with everything, because I didn't feel like I was like qualified to have a strong opinion. And I think I realized after making a third record, you know, especially having to work on it for 2 years and play it for 2 years and talk about it for 2 years afterwards, that I needed to make sure it really represented what I wanted to do.
But is there like a psychedelia version of Highway Queen somewhere?
No, we didn't even get Highway Queen in time. Like, you know what I mean? We got some other things, but it didn't go very psychedelic. It just went, you know, I think we laid down the roots for a lot of stuff, but I think, again, it just was like in the tempos and in trying to figure it out. And so in talking about figuring it out, you know, with the label, like, we were still like, do we go back to LA and finish it with Jonathan, but he was busy making other records, or what do we do? And we weren't even making plans to start another record, but the guy that I was dating, Jonathan Tyler, was like, come to Texas and on vacation. So I went on vacation, and he goes, I've got 2 days in the studio tomorrow. Do you want to try to use the band? And I was like, you know, what would hurt? So I didn't even tell the label I was doing it. We just went in. And I went in, and they're all my friends, and they're all around my age, and like, they're better musicians than me, but they kind of like, you know, weren't going to tell me what to do, you know, like what way to do it. They let me dictate. And at the end of the 2 days, I was like, this is it. Like, this is how I want to make the record. Like, I want to be surrounded by my friends, and instead of studio players, and say like, well, what do you think about this? Like, there was a reference for one of the songs, which was Queen, that we will rock you. I know that's silly because it doesn't go with any of my music, but it was like the energy for the song. And I didn't say it for like 3 days, and we couldn't get one of the songs in the studio. And then finally I said it, and they were like, why didn't you say that the first day? And I was like, I thought you guys would think I was an idiot, like if I was referencing Queen, like, you know, for my country record. But it's like learning to have the nerve to say, like, this is what I want to sound like in a studio.
So what are we to expect from Highway Queen, the album?
I think, you know, for me, it seems like I feel like I've really learned how to express myself. So I think that I make records that are not really thematic. They're like a mixtape of like different things that have happened over the last 2 years. And I think that's what has come out. You know, there have been a bunch of different types of things that have motivated me to write, from being mad at a girl in town that's running her mouth with Big Mouth that I sang to you, or Highway Queen, or 700,000 Rednecks, which is about 700,000 rednecks, you know, and but some sadder songs. I have a song that I wrote when Levon Helm from the band passed away, and a song that I wrote about divorce that wasn't a joke, because it's not a joke, you know, and so looking back at it with some clearance, I was able to, so, you know, it's a wide variety of emotions, but it sounds really good. And I like, the band that backed me up is called the Texas Gentlemen, and it's a group of players, kind of like the Wrecking Crew from the 70s, that are down in Texas, that kind of back up a lot of people. And I just think it's going to be really good. It's definitely going to be worth, like, what do you guys do here? Like, I'd be like 200 krona. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
So, you were born in South Carolina,
mm-hmm.
and lived in New York and Los Angeles. So what did moving to Nashville mean to you?
For me, it was about learning to be able to be an artist. I moved to LA and New York to make money, to be in denim, to be in manufacturing. I wanted to start a brand, and to me that meant I had to keep making money and keep working. When I started dabbling with the idea of being an artist, I'm still a logical person. I still want a car and an apartment. You know what I mean? I didn't want to starve to make music. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if I'm going to do it as a job, it needs to pay. And in Nashville, I could do that. I could have a house. I could have a washing machine, you know what I mean? And I could still afford to go on tour and come back. And so at first, it was just about being able to afford to try to do art. And then when I got down there, I realized what a community it was. And, the more you tour, the more time you spend on the road, I think the more valuable it is that your friends are people that also tour, because no one else quite understands what you're talking about when you're kind of like having a meltdown because you've been on the road for 30 days. People are like, it's amazing, you ate for free and they gave you clothes, and you're like, no, I'm tired, like it's a real job, everyone thinks it's fun, but those people I think become your family because they understand we're all doing the same thing. We're all kind of working, we miss Christmases and weddings and babies being born because we're on the road, and it's just a different lifestyle, but everyone down there is doing it. So I think you create this community of people that are taking care of each other.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
And good luck.
Okay, good. I bet we're going to be back here next year
Yeah, I hope so.
by the time you put it out.
Yeah.